Hello everyone. So I'm Engineer Oscar Pioganiza and my topic for project development management are people in projects and conflict in projects. Okay, so without further delay, let us continue on these topics. So previously, these are our topics or these are the uh, topics that we have already learned, no? So we talked about systems, tools, methods, and structures in project management. Now we will talk about people. Okay. So based on the book that Dr. Noel has shared with us, no, project management is people system. Okay. Without effective working, no, or without these people, all other systems will fail. Okay. So management has been described as obtaining results through people. And the way in which the project manager deals with people and how these people deal with one another can make or break project performance. Okay? So, yun nga po, ano, previously, ang pinag-aaralan natin ay mga skills, structures, methods, tools. Now, we are talking about people. Kasi, with these people, it could make or break the project performance. And for this topic, we will talk about how we should work with people. So let us talk about the critical areas of my topic. So we will talk about leadership, power, motivation, teamwork, and last chapter is conflict. Okay. So now let us talk about leadership. So according to the book, leadership is the human behavior process by which the activities of one person influence the behavior of others to support goals desired by the leader. So, meaning leadership is all about behavioral process or human behavior, no, that could influence the entire project team, the entire team, okay, the members of the team. Okay, so that is leadership. And when we differentiate management and leadership, okay, management is the achievement of results through people. Okay, when we talk about leadership, we influence people, while management is the achievement or obtaining of results through people. Okay, the quickest way to change the performance of an organization is to change the leader. Leadership is critical to high performance on projects as it is with almost any human endeavor. Okay? So sabi nga, ano, pwede na may leader, malalaman mo kung paano magbabago yung performance ng isang organization. No? Kung hindi maayos yung leader, babagsak. Eh, kung maayos, aangat. So that is the bottom line of leadership according to the book. Okay? So there are two leadership styles. We have this task-oriented and employee-oriented leadership style. When we say task-oriented, no, it is characterized as a strong, competent, dominant leader who centralizes decision making, problem solving, planning, and control. However, when we talk or when a leader executes a task-oriented leadership style, no, personal needs and interests of the employees will have low priority. No? Employee morale may be low, hostility may be high, employee creativity and initiative may be stifled, and if the strong leader leaves, the organization will tend to fall apart. So when we say task-oriented, no, these leaders are what do you call this? They are more competent, strong, dominant leader, no? Who centralize decision making. No? So medyo ano sila, more on performance sila, performance based, no? And medyo kung ako titingin, medyo yun nga, mas focus sila sa output ng trabaho kaysa sa pakikitungo or pakikisama sa kanyang mga kasama, no, sa kanyang mga katrabaho, no? More on task-oriented siya. On the other hand, when we say employee-oriented, no, it is characterized by a high emphasis on participation and teamwork in decision making, problem solving, and control, no? So, dito naman kabaliktaran ng task-oriented leadership style, no? Dito, personal needs and the interests of employees will have high priority. Employee creativity and initiative will be increased. Moral employee satisfactions will be high. Commitment will be strong. So, when we say employee-oriented, mas inaalaw ni leader yung mga inputs ng kanyang mga kasama. Unlike sa task, centralized yung decision making. Okay? So, those are the common differences of these two leadership styles. Kayo, I should ask you, which leadership style would you implement into your team? Mas okay ba sa inyo yung task-oriented style or okay sa inyo yung employee-oriented style? So, but for me, I guess we have to combine both, no? I-balance natin siya para nang sa ganun, mas hindi naman affected yung employee natin sa performs natin ng mga tasks. So, for me, I guess, i-balance out natin parehas. Okay? So, let us talk about power, no? So, power is the ability to get people what you want them to do. For example, binigyan mo sila instruction, kailangan nilang tapusin. You have the power to tell them what to do. For example, okay, gawin mo tong task na to until tomorrow. Ginawa. So, that is your power. No? You have the authority or the power to ask people do their jobs depending on what you want them to do. Okay, so that is power. So, according to the book, you have a power if you can take decisions, approve decisions, you can control the outcome, you can reward, you can uh, provide rewards, you can punish somebody, you know. So these are some of the ideas or somehow words related to power. Yan po. Okay. So let us now talk about authority. When we say authority, it is a legitimate power. Okay. The legal power which pertains to a manager's position in the organizational hierarchy. To what? To give subordinates instructions that they must follow or else be disciplined. Okay, so you have the authority to give instructions that they must follow or else mamimumuhan sila. Okay, that is authority. No? And authority is a legitimate power. Okay. So according to the book, there are three levels of power: positional, personal, and political. So now let us talk or differentiate these three levels of power. When we say positional, no, it is a legal authority. The subordinate or the superior has the right to give instructions. So aside from that, meron din siyang reward power, no? The superior has the power to offer financial rewards, promotions, and attractive jobs. So that is reward power. Next one is coercive power. When you say coercive power, the superior has the power to punish or discipline the subordinate. Okay? And yeah. So that is positional level of power, no? Pwede siyang magbigay ng instruction, pwede siyang magbigay ng reward, and pwede siyang mag-punish. So that is positional level of power. Now let us talk about personal level of power. When we say personal, no, it is divided into two categories. First one is expert and the other one is referent. When we say expert power, no, people do what the power holder wants because he or she is recognized as having special knowledge or expertise. So, personal level of power if you have the expertise of a particular subject. Okay, so for example, expert ka sa ganitong bagay, you have the power kasi knowledgeable ka sa ganong area. That is personal level of power. Next one is referent. When we say referent, People do what the power holder wants them because of admiration, loyalty, friendship, respect, attraction, or other forms of personal leadership or personal relationship. For example, charismatic leadership. Okay. So, when we say referent, it is because you are friends. Or else, uh, sa mga naririnig-rinig mo, meron siyang charismatic or charisma in leading a team. So, pagpasok siguro sa tao, mararamdaman mo kaagad yung aura niya or yung charisma niya as a leader. Personal level of power niya yun. So, those are the two levels of power under the personal level. Last one is political level. When we say political power, okay, political power based on power holders' skill and use of the many activities of politics to gain power. So ito na ang pamumulitika to gain power. Okay, so those are the three levels of power: positional, personal, and political. Okay, let us talk about political power. Okay, an activity concerned with the acquisition of power. Okay, so mahirap kasi sa panahon ngayon yung wala kang power or authority, 'di ba? Parang napakakawawa mo pag wala kang power. That's why marami ngayon ang trying their best, no, to acquire power, no? Marami din yung humahanap ng connection, nakikipag-network, naghahanap ng mga kaibigan, kasama, kakilala na merong connection sa mga nasa taas. Why? That's how they want to acquire power. Okay? Pamumuliti ka. Okay? So, according to the book, meron tayong tinatawag na Political Manager's Toolkit. Okay? Ano ba ito? Yung Political Manager's Toolkit ito. Sinasabi dito kung paano ka magkakaroon ng political power or how you have the leverage to get a power or magkaroon ka ng power in some areas. Number one is meron kang support from the higher power source. For example, kaibigan ka ng presidente, pinsan ka ng presidente, di ba? May support ka agad sa taas. Okay? Next is alliance or coalition. For example, pinsan mo yung presidente and sa lower house, 'di ba? Meron kang mga kapartido, 'di ba? So meron kang agad political power, tama? Controlling a critical resource. For example, ikaw yung naghahawak ng budget. No, 'di ba? Ikaw naghahawak ng budget. So you have the power to allocate funds depende sa kung ano ba ang gusto mong paglagyan ng budget. Okay? Controlling the decision process. Okay. You have the ability to select which project you want these funds to be allocated, no? For example, gusto mo ilagay sa flood control projects, di ba? Doon mo ilalagay kasi meron kang political power to do so. Next is controlling the committee process. Okay, so for example, na-budgetan mo na. So meron ka ng i-skip na mga processes. For example, hindi mo nadadaan ng first hearing, second hearing, third hearing, approve na kaagad. 'Di ba? Hindi mo na kailangan dumaan sa marami pang criteria or decision or approving process diyan, no? Next one is use of positional authority. So, for example, pinsan ka ng presidente, marami kang kaalyado, siyempre, gagawin ka na nilang house speaker niyan, 'di ba? So, meron ka ng position kasi ikaw mag-a-approve niyan. Siyempre, leader of the house ka, majority ano ka speaker ka, 'di ba? Next is scientific element. Ito, hindi naman siya gano'n kakailangan kasi marami ka ng ah ito na ang power mo, 'di ba? Ito siguro scientific when it comes to some scientific sides of political power, I guess. Puwede siya. Deceit and deception, ito. Kaya mong manloko at makapanloko ng tao, no? So, for example, ang sabi ng presidente, 'di ba? Sabi ng presidente hindi daw siya ang may gawa ng ng, ah, ng ng mga nangyayari sa bansa, sa isang bansa, 'di ba? Pero hindi na pa magiging, ah, hindi na naniniwala yung tao kasi alam naman nila na galing pa rin sa kanya yung mga instructions ng mga movement ng mga nasa lower house or higher or sa higher house, 'di ba? information, and miscellaneous games. Okay? So that's critical power toolkit, no? So now let us talk about motivation. Motivation ng tao sa kanilang paghahanap buhay, sa kanilang pagtatrabaho. Okay? So, merong three kinds of motivation. Number one is participative or participation. The second one is expectancy and reward system. The third one is achievement, goal, and target setting. When we say participation, no, participative management involves the subordinate in decision making. Okay. So a project manager allows his or her team to share their insights, their inputs in decision making. No? Hindi lang si boss ang nagde-decide, kundi hinihingi niya yung opinions. Binibigyan niya ng power or authority to share yung kanyang mga team. No? Kasi in the first place, sila ang mismo nakakaalam na nangyayari. Sila ang nasa baba. Okay? So, as much as possible, in participative management, sila nagbibigay sa iyo ng information or else binibigyan mo sila ng authority to decide. Para na sa ganun, yung moral nila is tumaas. So that is participation. In that way, pag nakapagbigay sila ng inputs nila, nakapag-decide sila for themselves, is nagiging motivated sila kasi, ay, pinakikinggan ako ni boss sa mga inputs ko. Pinagkakatiwalaan ako ni boss sa mga sinishare kong ideas. So, sa ganung pagkakataon, namo-motivate yung empleyado o yung mga kasama natin. Okay? Second one is expectancy and reward system. When we say expectancy and reward system, ine-expect ng empleyado na kung siya ay mag-alay ng kanyang dugo at pawis, ay mapopromote siya. So, ine-expect niya na 'pag nag-double time siya sa kanyang trabaho is meron siyang reward. For example, promotion, increase ng sweldo, bibigyan ng ibang project. So, that's one way of motivating employees. Na-expect sila, so magtatrabaho sila ng sobrang sipag. So, sila namo-motivate para magkaroon sila ng umingkris or madagdagan yung kanilang net take home pay, for example. Tumaas yung positions nila sa company. So, doon sila namo-motivate. No? Expectancy and reward system. So, the third one is achievement, goal, and target setting. Ito naman, namo-motivate ang mga tao kung binibigyan mo silang separate projects to complete. Kasi based on their emotions and feelings, binigay sa akin ni boss yung ganitong project kasi may tiwala siya sa akin. So, dun pa lang, 'pag pinagkatiwalaan mo sila, namomotivate na sila kaagad. So, and of course, 'pag natapos na yung project na yun, na-accomplish nila on time, without delay, without further, what do you call this? Confusions or conflicts, no? Tapos nila on time. So, namomotivate sila kasi pwede nila sabihin, natapos ko 'to on time nang walang problema. So, that's how they are being or getting motivations, no? Binibigyan sila ng target or goals to complete on time, realistic goals to be achieved on time. So, those are the three types of motivation. Okay? Participation, expectancy and reward system, achievement, goal, and target setting. Okay? So now, let us talk about conflict in projects. Okay? So I have 7 more slides. Yes, for 15 minutes pa. Okay. So these are the 4 sources of conflict. Number 1 is organization structure. The second one is self-interest of employees or personnel or stakeholders. The third and fourth one are the normal people and the problem people. So let us talk about the organization structure. Why this is one of the source of conflict or sources of conflict of in projects. Okay. Una, size and shape. Common sense is that pag malaki ang company, malaki ang organization, maraming level ng approval. Okay? So, if kailangan natin ng mabilis ang decision, pag malaki ang company mo, merong pagdadaan ng 3 layers of approval yan. dadaan sa division, dadaan sa department, darating sa executive, hanggang sa na-delay na ang execution ng project. Nagkaroon na ng conflict between the stakeholders. For example, nag-expect si client na matapos on time. And sasabihin ni service provider, kasi po, matagal po yung approval ni ganito, matagal po yung approval ni ganyan. So, nagkakaroon ng conflict. This is because yung size ng company is malaki na. According to Steve Jobs, mas okay magtrabaho ng apat na tao lang. Why? Kasi makakapag-decide ka kaagad ng dapat mong gawin. So, the size of one organization matters, especially when it comes to decision making. That could possibly, if mishandled, if mishandled, is magiging source ng conflict. Okay, the second one is weak, inadequate, uncertain power. When we say weak, inadequate, uncertain power, ito yung mga project managers na wala silang, nasasapawan sila. Okay, so binigyan sila ng authority to lead on a certain project, but hindi naman sila pinapansin sa kanilang mga decisions. So, nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng conflict between the project manager and the top executives. Kasi, bakit bakit mo susundin si project manager, for example, ikaw yung nasa taas? Or, bakit mo pa hinihingi yung input ni project manager kung di ka naman din makikinig sa taas, 'di ba? So, there's a conflict between weak, inadequate, or uncertain power, 'di ba? Or kung hindi naman sa executive level side, for example, sa team mo na lang. For example, ikaw isang project manager at meron kang apat na tao na members, no? When we say uncertain power, though project manager ka pero wala kang decision making authority. Or nagbibigay ka ng instructions, hindi ka naman nila pinakikinggan. So you are a weak project manager kung ganon ang nangyayari sa iyong team. Hindi ka nila pinapakinggan, hindi ka nila sinusunod. So that's one of the sources of conflict, no? Within organizational structure. The third one is dual subordination. The basic example here or notion here is you cannot serve two masters at once. Malilito ka. So, dapat sa isang tao ka lang nagre-report. No? Kasi, for example, sa dalawang tao ka nagre-report at meron silang magkaibang approach sa iyong project, malilito ka sa project manager. So, as much as possible, select one kung sino ba ang pwede mong pagreportan. Doon na lang. Para nang sa ganun, yung execution mo ng project is smooth, swiftly. Okay? So, the fourth one is functionalization. For example, there are two groups. No? Though si group 1 is about offensive, si group 2 is about defense. No? Pag nagbangga yung dalawa na yan, magkaiba sila ng function. Isa offensive, isa is defensive. Pag nagsalubong yan, magkakaroon pa ng conflict yan sa loob. Kasi why? Kasi magkakaroon sila ng different functions. Kung yung isa puro attack ang ginagawa, isa defense. So actually, magkaiba sila ng function. So nagkakaroon sila ng conflict sa execution ng mga projects. Okay? So next one is self-interest. Okay? So nagkakaroon ng conflict sa project because of self-interest. Ano-ano ba 'tong mga 'to? Self-interest na 'to. Unang-una, personal motivations. No? So actually, in reality, most managers are motivated by self-interest. It would be foolish to imagine otherwise. Usually, yung alignment ng mga projects ni project manager is usually aligned sa kanyang self-interest. So if it is against his or his, I guess, work ethic or self-interest, minsan tinitweak niya para pumabor sa kanya. So that is one of the reasons why self-interest is one of the sources of conflict because of personal motivation. The second one is incompatible objectives. When we say incompatible objectives, no, uh, often individuals and groups, both large and small, have their own objectives, which may be incompatible with other groups and of the organization. For example, di ba, yung kanina, yung objective ng isa is to attack the I guess, the other company. The other one is the objective is defense. Parang sa ganun, maging ready na lang tayo, for example, no? So, dun pa lang, incompatible yung objectives nila, hindi na sila nagkakasundo kaagad. And from there, the group will be, for example, kakaroon na ng conflict in between, no? So, incompatible objectives. The third one is competition. Of course, competition, no? Again, it's not only for two groups, but for the entire company. Different offices, different divisions have their own different objectives. And from their own perspective, dapat matalo natin sa ganitong company, matalo natin sa ganitong division, sa ganitong office. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng self-interest. And because of that, nagkakaroon tayo ng competition sa mga iba't ibang groups within the organization. Okay? So, that's one of the reasons or the sources of conflict, no? Next one is personality problems, no? So, personality differences, of course, it must be recognized that even if every manager were competent, well balanced, meron pa rin silang mga personality differences. For example, no, meron silang bias, diba? May bias kagad sila. Si employee A, hindi gusto ni project manager, pero si employee B, dahil sa magaling makisama, siya na kaagad yung may magandang evaluation, di ba? Tama? So, the second one is dependency and history of conflict. Dito naman, if yung mga employees are too much dependent sa isang organization or sa isang tao, medyo nagkakaroon tayo ng problema dyan. Kasi instead of your team moving forward, if your team is highly dependent on that one particular person, maasar at maasar ka na lang talaga. Hindi ka maka-move forward kasi si employee A lang ang may idea kung paano paganahin si ganito, paano kausapin si ganyan. So I guess because of that, no, yung highly dependent kasi sa isang tao is possibly meron kang personality problem sa kanya. No? Nauna siguro dahil magaling siya, I guess. Or dahil siguro dependent lang yung team mo sa kanya. Okay? Third one is differences in ability and motivation. Okay. So, minsan, personality problem natin, siyempre ang gusto natin kasama sa team natin maayos, di ba? May capabilities and abilities, may skills. However, due to some reasons, yung napupunta sa ating mga kasama ay hindi gano'n kahuhusay, hindi gano'n kagagaling. Abilities nila is hindi naman gano'n kataas. So, ikaw as project manager, madidismaya ka na lang, 'di ba? Anyway, that's one of the personality problems under the sources of conflict, no? So, gagawin mo na lang, "Oh, sige, huwag ka na lang magtrabaho, kami na lang gagawa." Yun pala, kasi hindi capable si employee to do what you want them to do, 'di ba? Lack of interpersonal skills. When you say lack of interpersonal skills, ano 'to? When you say lack of interpersonal skills, hindi siya marunong makipag-usap, makipag-communicate sa kanyang mga kasama. Kasi kung walang maayos na communication, hindi ma hindi magiging successful yung project. Puro ano 'yan, puro conflict yung mangyayari diyan kasi, akala ko ganito, akala ko ganyan. Hindi verified, hindi validated yung execution mo ng mga processes. So, next one is insecurity and stress. O, kung insecure ka sa kabilang group kasi mas magagaling sila, di ba? Meron kang sense of insecurity sa yung personality. So, may stress ka na lang, di ba? So, those are the personality problems that could be a source of conflict within project management. Next is managerial rogue. Okay, so last four slides, I guess. Managerial rogue. So, meron naman silang light side, or yung the good side, no? Or socialized power motivation. So, marunong na silang makisama sa mga tao, no? Magaling sila may pag-socialize. So, that's their power motivation, yung mga managerial rogue na yan. On the dark side, marunong silang mamolitika. So, you have to spot them right away. Kasi pagka meron kang taong ganyan sa organization mo is either they could break your team or make your team or the result of your project is high. Yung performance ng project ng mga tao mo is high. So, as much as possible, these managerial roles must be, I guess, alisin mo na lang sa company mo. Kasi mga pasaway yan, may sariling mundo yung mga yan. Or else, kung gusto mo sila mag-stay sa iyong company, kasi medyo palaban sila, doon mo sila ilagay sa mga bagong teams. Yan. Sa mga teams na may mga conflict. Kasi yung mga yan, may mga sungay na yung mga yan. Batak na ng panahon yan. May mga palagyan sa katawan. So, choose wisely those project managers and assign them wisely as well. Okay. So, that's the entire coverage of my report, the conflict, the teamwork, the ano ba, leadership styles. Okay. So, I have here some book recommendations, no, for every one of us or for everyone. No. I'm quite a fan of Robert Greene, so I have here the books that I have and currently reading. No? So I'm done with the 48 Laws of Power. You should read this for when it comes to gaining political power. No? And you have to read 33 strategies of war for planning purposes. Yan, by Robert Greene again. If you want to influence people, read the book The Art of Seduction. Okay, by Robert Greene again. And for personal development, read the book of Robert Greene, Mastery. And for people management, read the book The Laws of Human Nature. So now I'm done reading the Art of Seduction and the 40 Laws of Power. Now I'm reading the 33 Strategies of War. So these are all psychology books that you can use in project management. I firmly believe that project management is somehow psychological in manner. So if you know how to use psychology, kung paano mo psychohin yung mga stakeholders mo, magiging madali yung pag pagma-manage mo ng project. Uh, if you can plan directly na maayos, well and good. Kung kilala mo yung mga taong kailangan mo lapitan sa taas, to make the execution of your project smooth, ito, kailangan mo ka. No? If you want to influence somebody to work below you or to become your subordinate, you have to seduce them. No? Mapalalaki man yan, mapababae man yan, no? Parang sa ganun, magkaroon ka ng alliance. Okay? Personal development, mastery of your skills, and people management. You need to know how to read people. No? Kung ano bang karakteristik na meron sila, ano bang attitude na meron sila. Kasi hindi naman gagawa yan or gagalaw yan ng walang dahilan. And because of that book, The Laws of Human Nature, alam mo na kaagad kung bakit yun ang ginagawa nila. So, yeah, I'm somewhat into reading this kind of books for almost 6 years, 7 years, no? Kasi I was uh, before 2020, before COVID, may mga tao na ako hinahawakan. And I have to make sure na dapat alam ko yung kinikilos nila. Alam ko yung motivations nila. Alam ko kung bakit nila ginagawa yun. Kasi pag alam mo yung reasons kung ba't sila gumagawa or bakit nila ginagawa yun, mas mapapadali yung paggawa mo ng project. So, again, these are my book recommendations for everyone. Strategies of War, the book, The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, Mastery, and the Laws of Human Nature. So, that ends my report. Thank you very much for listening.